welcome to Petra Media. I'm your host, Terrence Anderson. I hope you enjoyed that track. I'm just going to call that one Car Beat 1 because why not call it that, right? Today, I am sitting in the car waiting for a meeting at my kid's school. And I figured while I had the time, I might as well work on something, right? So I brought can't even see with the glare, the 1000, and decided to knock out a track real quick. And my thinking with working on this track, because I've been working with the One Plus for so long now, like the last several months, I've I've got a different appreciation for the older machines than I did before. I will say that I still think that they're a great thing to have, and they're great for what they are, because the 1000 has an amazing sound to it, for me at least. When I deal with the samples in here, it makes me think a different way about my approach to production. But the One Plus has truly, truly spoiled me. If you had to ask me, does it make sense to go back to the older samplers for production? I will say the answer to that is it depends on what your initial goals are. If you are starting out today and this is your first time producing music with an external device, a drum machine of some sort, I would say buy one of the newer ones. Buy the One Plus, buy the X, buy the Live. If your budget is tight, don't buy the X, buy the Live or the One Plus, because that would get you going with the standalone workflow with a lot of features. I mean, a lot of features. I'll be honest with you, the One Plus has been kind of a limitless thing for me because there's so much I can actually do with it that I don't need to worry. I just know it's capable. With the 1000, the thing that's always been frustrating with the older machines is the setup time. The setup time for a machine like this, you have to put your mind in a headspace for that. So that's the only reason I wouldn't recommend it to someone who is getting into this new. Now, if you're getting into this new and you're saying, I want to go at it from the old school perspective, I want to do things exactly how people used to do it and work my way through it, then I would say get a 1000. Because of all of the machines, it gives you the most flexibility from the older machines. And I say that all the time because it basically behaves like a 2000 XL, which is pretty much everyone's favorite MPC. People like the 4000 and all the other ones, but let's be honest, the 2000 XL was the one that sold the most, and the 1000 behaves like the 2000 XL. So for the most part, that's the one I would recommend you buy if you're looking for an older machine to get the handle of how things function so you can really get into the old school workflow. It sounds great. It comes with a fair amount of effects, just enough for you to get your feet wet. And it has mute groups. It does a lot. And the beat that you heard only took me about, I want to say 5 minutes to put together. But it took 15 minutes to set it up. And that's the thing that you have to understand with the older samplers. I think what gets people frustrated is they don't realize how much setup time you have, because the newer machines just basically do a lot of the work and the heavy lifting for you. So it makes it so easy for you to function because it's easy to function. The other caveat I'll say with the 1000 is mine, because I haven't used it in a while, I'm starting to notice some little issues. That's the thing with older machines. If you don't use it for a while, they start to give you little quirks. So with mine, for example, these right here, these pads right here, they're starting to give me some issues. And it was doing double triggers while I was working on the drums. I like to put my drums at the bottom row. It was giving me some double triggers here and there. The sensitivity was a little off. And I don't know if that's just simply because it's been sitting in a box for about roughly 6 months and I haven't been using it, or what. Everything else works fine. The same 2 buttons on the menu side of things that are acting up, we're still acting up. So everything else is working fine. So I'm thinking more so that either the pads need to be replaced or the triggers need to be replaced. And I'm leaning towards the pad needs to be replaced because the pads do feel spongy. They've kind of felt that way since I bought this. And it wasn't really an issue before, but now it seems like it's starting to become an actual problem. So I'm gonna have to address that. Outside of that, that's the only cons I could think of. I mean, these things are robust, completely durable. They rarely glitch. I think with this one, since I've owned it, I've only had it glitch once. I don't even know how it happened. Somehow I was working on an 8-bar loop and I accidentally did something, some combination, some contra code combination of buttons that I pressed on here, forced it to delete the 8th bar, and it was looping from 1 to 7, but then it would play 8 periodically. It was just really weird. It was like locked up, and I couldn't figure out how I even did that. But outside of that, I don't know, in the 10 years that I've been around a 1000, that was literally the first time I've ever had an issue. Whereas with the One Plus, I've had a couple of hiccups here and there. I've had a couple of issues where it's shut down and glitched out, but it hasn't been enough to piss me off. It's been more like, oh man, I can't believe I just had that issue. But at the same time, I've made sure to save my data as I go along. So I've never really worried about it. I also had to program myself to think like that, because with the 1000 and the older machines, a lot of us have this behavior of making the entire beat first and then saying, oh, let me save it now. Whereas with the One Plus, it's really a good idea, and all the newer ones, to save it, as you go and name things as you go. Mixing on this in comparison to mixing on the One Plus is a little bit more difficult. However, there's little tricks around it. I mean, for example, one of the easy ways to do this is as you're going through each track and you're making the beat and you're adding stuff to it, you can turn the velocity of the track down, and that will affect everything that's being triggered on that track. That's like a little thing that's on the screen that you don't even notice, but it's like right there. It's almost like that's the volume control for the whole track, versus the mixer in here. The mixer, I never liked how the mixer was set up in any of the older machines, because older machines, the mixer was set up per pad. I think in the 5000, I have a track mixer and the pad mixer, but in the 1000, I have the pad mixer, and I've never liked the pad mixer. So the easy way around that is to just turn the velocity down on the track. And other than that, I don't really have too many issues. I've had a blast with this thing, and I always have a blast with this thing, but it is frustrating when certain things don't act right. And this is the first time I've had the pads act out since owning it, and I'm gonna have to address that soon. I'm also gonna showcase it more and more on the channel. So I hope you guys like this video. It's a quick one. I'm about to go into this meeting, talk to the parents and the school, and get to know some things that I haven't learned yet about the school, and have a good time. So I hope you guys are having a great day. Remember, every day you can find problems, but along with those problems, look for solutions. Don't just dwell in the problems. I still knocked out a track on this thing, even though the pads were acting janky for no reason. And I'll probably end up mixing it later on Logic or something. So catch you guys later.